Hi, welcome to another episode of the GunWriterTV. I'm Lee Williams with co-host Mike Young. I gotta say, this week my inbox is overflowing with emails, phone calls, all stemming from, of course, the tragedy that occurred in Paris.
Yeah.
Locally, gun sales are up 30%. Nationally, gun sales are up 30%. Are you seeing more traffic?
Slammed.
And people want to know why.
They want to know what kind of gun to get. Brand new gun buyers, people that have never shot before, are coming in the store.
What kind of gun should they buy, Mike?
Whatever gun fits them.
Exactly.
You know, we take the time to go along with these customers that come in instead of just throw them something easy.
You've seen some kind of horror stories.
I've seen horror stories. Everybody wants the smallest, lightest gun they can carry.
Oh, okay.
Because it's small and light and it's easy to hide. But when you go shoot it, it's not accurate and it hurts, right?
So everybody's looking at 380s.
380s, 38 special revolvers. We just did a class this weekend at Bienville, and one of the ladies had a revolver. As a defensive gun, if you're going to shoot maybe 2 or 3 rounds, maybe. But if you have to reload, you are at a huge disadvantage.
She's going to run a 38 through your class?
Try.
She's going to try?
We ended up putting a semi-auto in her hand because she couldn't. But she was talked into this 38.
Somebody told her it was the gun for her.
She went to a gun shop in Fort Lauderdale, and the guy said, well, this is what you need. You need a revolver because they never jam. But as our good friend Mike McGowan says, a revolver jams every 5 or 6 times.
Yeah.
And that's when you have to open it up and actually physically unjam the shells
Yeah.
and reload them one at a time. Or if you, God forbid, you get a speed loader and you can get it in there really quick if you practice like Miklik, right? But we're not all Miklik.
I'm not Jerry Miklik.
So it's one at a time while they're beating you.
Yeah, yeah. And let me guess, somebody told her that was the gun for her.
Yeah, because it was light, easy to shoot, never jams, reliable. Well, you know what? Semi-autos are just the same way.
Yeah. And in a semi-auto, you can clear a malfunction.
You can clear malfunction if it happens. You can reload a heck of a lot faster, and it holds more ammo.
Yeah.
It's kind of a no-brainer.
Like 3 times as much for some of them.
Yeah.
I think what we want to accomplish today, and I know, is lay out, rather than tell somebody what type of gun to buy, lay out some ground rules, some parameters.
Right.
And we're going to talk about 3 different kinds of guns. A long gun for home defense or self-defense, a full-size handgun, and then something small and concealable.
Right.
Because everybody wants to know right now what kind of gun they got to get, because Paris scared a lot of people.
It did.
And rightfully so.
And they didn't have guns to defend themselves.
They didn't have anything to defend themselves.
Just like in England when the terrorists cut that guy's head off. It took the cops 20 minutes to get there.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, so
we're going to try and answer what type of gun is right for you by not telling you what type of gun is right for you.
Exactly.
Okay, long guns, self-defense. 2 basic options.
You got a rifle, you got a shotgun.
And which one would you prefer in the home?
In the home, I like a shotgun because it's you can buy the rounds that might not make it through the drywall. Your AR-15 is going to go right through the drywall, no problem.
Right.
You know, you can use your safety slugs and stuff like that in the shotgun. And everybody knows the universal, intimidation. That racking of a 12-gauge shotgun is very intimidating. But you also need to know how to use it.
Exactly.
You can't just buy this 12-gauge and put it on the shelf and go, I'm only going to use it when...
Well, you don't have to aim a shotgun, right?
No, you just have to be close.
Yeah.
That's what they all say.
I've shot thousands of rounds through my 870s over the years. I was trained in an 870. I carried an 870. I've seen one malfunction in an 870, which was solved by grabbing the pump, slamming the butt on the ground.
Yep.
The stuck shell popped out. It's a great gun. A lot of great options out there. You know, obviously, a lot of fine shotgun makers. Especially now, we're starting to see some cheaper ones come across.
Yeah, we're starting to get some. I got an email blast the other day that they're going to be having these on sale. They're made in another country, but they're designed after your 870. So you save a little bit of money and you still have the quality.
Good, good. Problems with the shotgun? Ammo.
Yeah, low ammo, low round count.
Maybe 6 to 8 if you've got a tactical gun.
Yeah.
If you've got a sporting gun,
5.
you're looking at 3 or 4.
Yeah, that's true.
Now, when you do hit somebody, like if you're using double-aught buck, you're hitting them with 9 .32 caliber projectiles all at the same time.
Yeah.
I can testify it causes massive trauma, massive disruption to the tissues. It's a great thing, but especially in a home, they're heavy and there's a lot of recoil and they don't hold many rounds.
Yes.
The other side of that, we have carbines.
Yes. A carbine rifle, such as an AR-15.
Or an AK.
Or an AK. Or even a 9mm carbine,
Yeah.
like what is it? The High Point TS carbine. People make fun of High Points,
They're reliable.
but I got to tell you, that rifle runs.
And look at the M1 carbine. I've written about that gun is the perfect home defense gun too. Really works well. 30 rounds, light, low
Ammunition
recoil.
isn't very expensive.
No.
You know, yeah.
Thing I like about the carbine you hit, no recoil, tons of options. You can put lights that you don't like, lasers, red dots, and you have at least 30 rounds.
Yes.
And
a standard capacity magazine.
Standard capacity magazine.
Yes.
I have yet to see a gunfight happen in a house that required more than 30 rounds.
Yeah.
Also, they're affordable. You're running some specials? What?
Yeah, we're running a Thanksgiving Black Friday special, if you will. It started last Friday and runs through the December 24th. It's
I can buy a black gun for how much?
An AR 5.56 for under $550.
Wow, that's cheap.
Yeah.
Or you go the other extreme, get an HK, the semi-auto version of their 416. Some Daniel Defense.
Mild to wild, or build your own.
Build your own.
Build your own AR. You know.
So you know how it functions. I think between the shotgun and the ARs, or an AK, which is, I will admit, much more difficult to run than an AR.
It is, but you ran it quite well at the,
I've
the
been
thing. You've been
shooting it all my life, and they're not as ergonomic. You have to train hard to run
and
an AK.
And they kick more.
Yeah.
You have recoil management with an AK.
And I like the bigger bullet.
Yeah. 300 blackout AR.
Yeah, exactly.
Same bullet.
Exactly. So, personally, my personal opinion, long guns, I lean toward the carbine.
Right.
Rather than a shotgun.
Right.
Because you've got a lot more ammo, and like 30 rounds in an AK, you're the Lord of War.
Well, remember, your pistol is only your tool to get to your battle rifle.
Exactly. My pistol is my defensive gun with which I'm going to use it to fight my way to my battle rifle. Now let's talk about full-size pistols. What are some general guidelines that you like when somebody comes in and says, I got to have a gun?
It's got to fit. You gotta put them in your hand and feel what they feel like, you know. And if it doesn't fit right, cost should be your last issue. Okay?
Definitely agree.
It might be the cheapest firearm out there, but it doesn't fit.
Right.
Or it's real heavy and big and bulky. It's you got to be able to operate it. If you can't pull the slide back, that gun's not going to work for you. You know?
And I've seen that.
Oh yeah. The bigger ones are a little easier to manipulate because they are bigger, so they're heavier, and the springs aren't as tight as the smaller ones to handle your recoil. But it's got to fit you. You got to go into your local shop. You've got to talk to the salesman and try not to just have him give you the pitch. You need to put them all in your hand. Ask questions. You know.
I've noticed that about you. We brought a colleague in to buy a pistol, and you had 15 guns on the counter for her to look at. And it reminded me, and I told her, it's like picking out a pair of shoes.
It really is.
Nobody's going to tell you what kind of shoes to buy. Nobody should tell you what kind of gun to buy within some certain parameters. I would say major manufacturer.
Yes.
Can't say American now because there's some good imported guns, obviously, including some made in Germany.
Yeah.
And I would say caliber, the biggest caliber that you can shoot comfortably.
Yes.
And accurately and reliably.
I got to tell you though, since I've been doing these classes with Mike, the 9mm is getting more and more reliable. I mean, a lot of the agencies are starting to go back to the 9mm.
40 was kind of an aberration for a while.
Yeah, I still carry a 40, but the 9 it doesn't kick as much.
No.
The ammo is probably the second less expensive ammo to train with at roughly $15 a box rather than the 40, almost $20 a box, the 45, $25 a box, and even your 380 is $21 a box.
Yeah, exactly.
So when you go down in the caliber, you'd think it'd be cheaper, but it's not.
Yeah.
Okay. 9's the easiest one to find right now, ammo-wise, and it just works.
So we've got a major manufacturer, at least 9mm for a full-size gun. I happen to prefer 45 ACP. Mine is my gun of choice is the XD by Springfield Arms, the tactical with the 5-inch barrel. But I'm a big enough guy I can shoot that.
Made in Croatia, great gun. Wonderful ergonomics on it. Not real healthy to the left-handed person, but it's not bad. The safety in the back strap and all that stuff, it's a very safe gun.
Let's talk about safeties. I think there's a lot of people out there with the misnomer that every defensive gun has to have a safety or they don't feel safe.
The best safety you can have is this right here.
Yeah.
Don't put your finger on the trigger and it's not going to go off.
And Glocks have 3 internal safeties.
They're always on until you put your finger on the trigger.
You could literally jack around in the chamber, throw it on the ice, and play 3 periods of hockey. It's not going to go bang.
Your Springfield Armory has 4.
Yeah, with the back
Has
strap.
the palm safety,
Yeah.
the back strap safety. It has everything the Glock has and that extra one.
What about people who say, I can't afford a Glock, I can't afford an XD, I can't afford an HK?
I've gotten people that come in the shop and they go, I got $200, I want High Point. And I'm like, I just met you and I know you're worth more than $200. You know, what's your life worth?
Yeah.
And what I tell people is, I ask them, how many times a week do they eat lunch out? Nobody brings their lunch to work anymore.
No.
You're always eating it. You stop Mickey D's or the Subway or your local sub shop, your mom and pop restaurants. If you were to take that money that you spend on lunch every day and bring a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, right? Just sustenance, just feed yourself.
Fuel.
For a month, you could afford a Glock.
Yeah. And I
Or
think
a Springfield, or any Ruger, anything.
M&P.
Yeah, you could afford a quality gun that's not going to be a paperweight.
exactly. Things to avoid when looking at major guns.
Gimmicks,
Yeah.
brand new ones. It's just like buying a computer. Don't be the first kid on the block to get a gun. Let some testing go out, as we've seen from Remington R51.
Yeah.
Everybody said it was the best thing in sliced bread, and it was breaking out of the box.
Well, look at the Caracal. They came out, Turkish gun.
It was so bad they gave you your money back. They didn't even fix it. They sent you a refund. Yeah. You know, for a full-size gun, for not a bad price, we've reviewed it here on the show, is the Canik TP9SA
Yeah.
from Century and Canik.
But that's been around a while.
It has.
And Century's been importing for a while. And there's been some good, real positive reviews on it.
Yes.
I could not agree more. I would watch the gimmicks. I would watch the first gen of any gun, even from a Big Green or a company like that.
Yep.
Or you could end up in a really bad situation.
Yeah, I mean, it's not about keeping up with the Joneses for self-defense.
What do you think of some of the weirder rounds like 357 SIG, 45 Gap?
357 SIG is a hot round. It's 40 cal neck down to a 357 Magnum round or 357 round, but it's a gimmick. You can't find it anywhere. I mean, Walmart doesn't even carry it. Okay, if they do, it's got one box, and that's it.
And that's got dust on it.
Yeah, people try to get this 357 SIG, and they're like, "Oh, it's a 357 SIG." It's like, yeah, okay, go find ammo for it.
Yeah.
45 Gap's the same way. 45 Gap is so hard to find that the state troopers have to try to find it for themselves just to be able to practice because the agency doesn't have them enough.
So avoid gimmicks, avoid trends, avoid
Yeah.
anything new.
Yeah.
Let's talk about something a little smaller now. What's the hot concealed carry guns?
The ones that I have, probably the hottest seller this year, believe it or not, and I'm a Glock guy, okay, is the Smith & Wesson M&P Shield.
Yeah, everybody's selling them.
That gun is like hotcakes. It's a great gun. It fits just about every application you need. It's light. It's small. It's a little hard to pull the slide back for the smaller viewers out there, or the maybe you have arthritis or something like that.
Hand issues.
Yes, it's a little bit harder to pull back, but when you shoot it, that being hard to pull back, when you shoot it, that spring comes back. It helps with the recoil. Remember, the smaller the gun, the more recoil it's going to have. The lighter the gun, the more recoil it's going to have. So everybody wants the smallest, lightest gun they can carry because they don't want to be burdened down with weight, but then it's going to hurt to shoot.
Yeah, I've shot the LCPs, the LCRs. They're nice guns, but they are not fun to shoot.
Yeah.
Especially
out of the
with
little
social
380s,
loads.
the little 380s, I really like the Glock 42 with the pinky grip on it. You can get your whole hand on it. But I think the one that blows them all out of the water is the best gun that nobody knows about, is the Walther PK 380. We had a lady use it this weekend, and she had arthritis. She couldn't pull the slide back on a full-size Glock. It was really hard for her to do it. And we put that 380 in her hand. She was running like a champ in about 15 minutes.
Wow. Wow. 380 should be about the smallest caliber.
I wouldn't carry anything smaller than a 380. Now, a 22 has a 1.5 mile kill radius. You shoot it in the air and it could kill. And we've seen a bunch of videos online where 22s have killed people.
Yeah.
But
I've seen that live too.
As something to rely on, why not get the bigger caliber?
Right.
You know.
22 has its place. I think the Beretta, the tip-up barrel.
Yeah.
Nice gun. In addition to another gun.
Heavy trigger pull.
Yeah, nasty trigger pull.
Yep.
You can cocker back to single action. Some of those smalls, like the Pugs, like the North American Arms, are nice carry guns in addition to something else.
Yes, in addition. I mean, it would be a worst case scenario if that was the only one you had. I carry a Pug as backup. I do, and that's if I'm on the ground rolling around, and all I need to do is put it on something and pull the hammer back and just shoot.
To recap, major manufacturer,
Major manufacturer.
At least 380. 9 is better.
And train.
And training. Now that brings
You've
us
gotta
into our
train.
final topic.
You totally got to train.
People get their concealed carry class. That's, for me, that's opening the door.
Yeah. You're standing at a static range, a square range, just shooting the gun. There's no training in that. There's no reloading. There's no moving and shooting. And like Mike McGowan says, I overhear him say it a lot. He has an acronym called MOVE. And it's motionless operators ventilate easily. And if you don't move, you're a sitting target.
Yeah.
You need to be moving and shooting, and you can't do that at a static range.
I think training is 50% of, if somebody's,
huge.
yeah, it's 50% of the solution.
Yeah.
If you're looking to increase your personal security, get a good firearm that you can trust with your life, and get some good training from a qualified instructor.
We had some students this weekend up at Bienville. I believe one was in his 70s and higher 60s, and they were running like a champ by the end of the show.
Nice.
It was
Nice.
really cool, and they were like, "Wow, I would have never even thought that I needed this, and I do need this."
A lot of guys have spent their entire lives standing at a square range. You need good gunfighting training if you're going to take your personal security.
During a gunfight, it's not
No.
because you're sitting duck.
Yeah.
You know.
You stand around, you're going to be Mr. McGowan's MOVE acronym.
Yeah.
Ventilated
Definitely.
easily.
Yeah.
Thanks, bro. Hope we
Pleasure to
answered
be
some
here.
questions.
Yep. God bless. Long live the Republic, and keep your powder dry.